story time. Let me tell you how this kid that I've known my whole life, we went to school together, right? We used to be that kid that get left in school. It's like we were the abandoned kid in school. So I've known him since we were 5 years old. And you know, like when you're growing up, 5 years old, you have a crush, because he was a boy. You have a crush on like a little kid or whatever. So we had this little crush thing going on, but nothing ever like really crossed the line. We even went to the same high school together. So we became friends because like most of us in that school did not really have involved parents. So like we would get out of school and we would go sit at his house. For 2017, that was when my whole idea of like, you know, I wanted to start all these things. I wanted to like, you know, start a business and all that stuff. So we started talking about this, and he was like, oh yeah, I could be your manager, because I wanted to start a blog. And he was like, I have professional camera, we could go to places and I could take pictures of you and all that stuff. I knew his wife. I would go to her house, to their house, when he's there, when he's not there, to like either like maybe I'm passing by to drop something or whatever. I never had an issue with this girl because my conscience is clear. I would never be messing with someone and be in their wife. Like, that is sick. He quit his job and he was doing business. He told me he was doing shipping business, like shipping goods from our country here to like sell stuff and all that. And I was like, oh cool. I never saw the things, but this was what he told me. So I was like, okay, so he's doing his business and, you know, and have a little bit of time to help me with what I'm trying to accomplish with my own dreams, right? So fast forward to like October, and we were talking, and I was like, man, I have 3 days off from work. I was like, I am bored with just being here. I said, I want to go visit my family in Atlanta. And he was, because at this time, he had this girl that he had a baby with that I know lived there. Oh, I was going to go down there too to see my son. This didn't feel strange to me. It was just like, oh, the universe like kind of like, you know, organizing it fucking wrong. He was just free and open. And so his predatory fucking behavior was like, well, this is I don't fucking know, because I don't understand people. They make me fucking sick to my fucking stomach when I think about it. He was like, yeah, well, we could drive down there together because I also have time. I was going to go down there that weekend. I don't know why this didn't ring an alarm for me, because again, I'm not seeing this person in that type of way. I'm not even thinking that this is what this person is planning or thinking about in their fucking disgusting ass, nasty ass mind. So I'm not thinking it. Totally made sense to me when he said like, oh, we could just drive down there together. Since I'm going down there as well, we could just coordinate the time and we can go there. I was like, cool. So we talked about this like a week before, and I was at work, and he was like, oh, send me your ID so I can get the rental car, because you know a lot of people don't drive with their actual car down there. I was like, oh, so you're gonna get a car? He's like, yeah. So I sent him my photo ID, my ID, right? I think the week before we were supposed to take this trip or whatever, he calls me out of nowhere and says, oh, I'm not getting the rental car anymore. I bought us a ticket to go to Atlanta. I was like, you know, I don't got no money to refund you back. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. It's on me. And I'm like, okay, this is my friend. I've known him. And he seemed, at the time, I'm not knowledgeable about what he did at the bank, but he talked a lot. So he was one of those people that like to brag, like, oh, him and his wife went to Mexico, they bought a share that made this amount of money. I didn't know, I wasn't financially literate at the time, so you could tell me anything at that time and I will fucking believe it. So I didn't think anything of it. I was like, well, cool. If you didn't want to drive and you figured we just got a ticket, then cool. But we get down to Atlanta, and he all of a sudden was too tired to drive all the way to Lithonia. Apparently now he's like, oh, this is like an hour away, So because I've known this person since I was 5, I would take the accountability of me not double checking half of what the fuck he was saying to me at the time. And he was like, well, I can't drive that far, but since I have the rental car, I would just drop you off in the morning and then I'll go see my son. And he's like, well, we could get like a hotel close by. I'm like, we have to get separate rooms or else I'm asleep in this airport. He's like, well, yeah, fine, we can get a separate room, da-da-da. This was like 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. He's like, oh, there's one that is just like 10 or 15 minutes away. Why do you know this? Now that I think of it, why do you know all these things? So we go in there and I go and sit at the little waiting room while he go up to the people at the place and ask them to book a room, since he was the one that was financially going to do this, because I wanted to go the fuck where I came to. So he goes, he's there going back and forth, and then comes to me. It was like, oh, they said that they're fully booked. We're too late. They only have one room, and we could use, you could sleep in the bed. I don't mind sleeping in the floor. I'm like, I don't want to be in a room with you. He's like, well, I don't know. There's not another place close by, and it's already 1:30. So I was like, well, that kind of makes sense, because I understand my strong will, that I'm like, nigga, fuck you, dirty ass motherfucker. Nobody wanted to be in your fucking, you know. So it makes sense to me at the time, stupidly enough. Like, okay, cool, I guess I'll take the bed, he would take the floor, da da da. So we get up in the room, and I was like, damn. And he was like, well, the best thing that we could do, if you know, since you're already, because I'm pissed off, like I have a full blown fucking attitude. He's like, well, we could go to the Magic Cities around here. This person that is already fucking tired, that can't drive to Lithonia, is suggesting that we go to Magic City, go to the strip club. And because I came to Atlanta obviously to have fun, I didn't turn down the idea. I was like, well, sure, that makes sense to me, because then now there's less time of us being in this fucking nasty ass place together. At that time, the way I was thinking in my mind, I'm thinking that, okay, we are gonna go out, and by the time we get back, it will be a little late. We don't have to spend that much time in this fucking space together. And by the time we go and when we come back, it will be like 2-3 hours to be up and go. But the thing that is pissing me off in this present day is, like, why didn't it click to my mind that if you have that energy to drive to Magic City, you could have had the same fucking energy to drive and take me the fuck home. You could have driven to take me the fuck home. So I get dressed and we drive to Magic City. We go to Magic City. We get in there, and I smoked at this time. So obviously I'm looking for, like, he didn't smoke. So I'm obviously looking for people who got the weed in the strip club, right? Ended up, obviously, if you know me, I'm a social butterfly. You put me anywhere, I'm gonna adapt with my environment. So I go in there, like, I'm in the, you know, at the time, the place, the way I remembered it, like, you know, the strippers are on the stage, and then they have this open, whoever finished dancing can get down and be there, like, hang around, you know, the hood niggas. And they were over there smoking. So I'm like, he's boring, standing in the corner. I'm like, I'm gonna go socialize, because I didn't come with you. I'm looking for the niggas with money and the weed, not you. You're somebody's, like, you know, like, this is my friend, not my nothing. So I left him and go and meet people, and the strippers were like, yeah, come in. So I go there, like, I'm hanging out with them, and I'm smoking, we're chilling, but I'm laughing, I'm making friends talk to me, I'm trying to talk to people, connect with people. And, you know, he's standing by the bar by himself, not really socializing or whatever. So, you know, at some point I obviously acknowledge the fact that we came together. So I would go over there and be like, you good? And he's like, yeah, I'm good, da da da. And go back and hang out with the people that I just met, that I was hanging out with in the club. So this was like maybe like 30 minutes for the club to close or something like that. I think they started calling people out and people were starting to leave and all that stuff. So I just got done talking to someone that we were all smoking together, and I walked over to him, and he's like, oh, and I'm like, are you ready to go? Because obviously he's my ride, so I'm not trying to just, you know, I go over, I make sure like he's good. I'm like, you ready to go? He's like, oh yeah, we can leave. And like, ain't nobody has ever dragged me out of the club drunk, regardless of smoking or drinking. I'm the last motherfuckers to take out. I'm like a fucking elephant to put down when it comes to drugs and alcohol. So nobody will claim that I have been sloppy, drunk, or belligerent anywhere, regardless of how much I smoke or I drink, because I always know my limit and I don't trust people around me. So I never leave myself to the point where I am fucking out of my mind. I don't trust people. Even now, as worse as he has got, there was a level of I don't trust people that I would not leave myself that open to be belligerent around people that I don't know. So I ended up walking up to him in like 10 minutes before we leave or whatever, and he's like, oh, do you want another drink? I was like, yeah, sure. And I remember while he was walking away, the guy that was standing like at the other corner was trying to talk to me. So I turned over to him and started talking to him while he went and got the drink. So I wasn't paying attention to him when he walked away. I am perfectly sober. I'm not drunk. I'm a little nice. I'm tipsy, but perfectly okay in my mind. He comes and he hands me this drink that he got. I think it was either a margarita. I think it was a margarita. Apparently, he has drugged this drink that he has given me. So he gives me this drink, and I turned around and kept talking to the guy that I was talking to, because even though we came together, we're not the fuck together. So I'm socializing with this guy. Then I realized I started drinking this drink that he gave me, and all of a sudden I started feeling completely oozy. Then I think he noticed that whatever he had put in this drink has like started taking effect on me or whatever. This is the last thing I remember in this whole event until the next day that I woke up. He gives me this. So he turns around. He's like, "Oh, are you ready to go? Because I'm ready to go." I was like, "Yeah, we could go." And I was saying goodbye to the guy. Like, he literally had to drag me out of the club. Next thing I know, this man is putting his face in my face, kissing me. But I'm fucking gone at this. That's the last thing I know. Woke up the next day. I'm completely naked. I woke up and I'm sore. I'm fucking sore. Clearly, I can tell that somebody has fucked themselves on me. I'm fucking sore down there. He's gone. So he wakes up and leaves before I wake up because he knew what he had did. So now I'm in this room confused as hell. I called them. I'm like, what the fuck happened yesterday? Where the fuck are you? He's like, oh, you know, we partied. This man raped me, drugged and fucking raped my lifeless fucking body.